Shut up and sit down.
Howdy guys, Andy from Bigmeks Workshop here, and this is another Sister of Battle video. As you know, the Sister of Battles are a faction close to my heart. I really do enjoy playing them, and they do have some lovely models.
Before we get too far into the video, a quick promotion from our sponsors, Composite Games. If you want to get any of the models that we paint in these tutorials and you want them 20% off, go check them out. There's a referral link in each of these videos, and if you use the code Bigmeksarmy, you get an extra 5% off. So that's a whopping 25% off your 40k and other hobby supplies. Definitely check those out. You following those links and using that store also helps us out as they give us credit. That means we get more models as well for cheaper, and we can do more tutorials for you. Everyone's a winner, so go check that out, and I'll let Andy crack on with his videos.
We're doing something a little bit different. I've gone for a 50-50 split. Now the first half is going to be focused on the reds, the second half is going to be focused on the silvers, so it also works well for you guys who are doing either Armored Lady or Bloody Rose. You can just watch the relevant sections. So I'm doing a bit of airbrush work. This is going to be black metal from Scale 75. It's just to get a nice base layer on the silvers, and we're largely going to be ignoring the silver armor sections. All the silver work is going to be focused towards the piping. We'll do the but all the armor is going to be done in much the same way. So now we're using decayed metal for, you know, the cogs of gears, just to break up that flat silver. And we're going all around the entirety of a model. Retributor armor will make a good alternative to this if you don't use any Scale 75s. I like this particular colour, really nice, and gives you a nice defined colour. Now you can see I've got quite a lot of silver in there all over the trim, and generally just breaks up them single colours. Also, I'm blacking out any of the leather work and any of the other details that are going to be in a different colour. It's an important thing to do if you use an airbrush or a spray can for your base coats, as it gives you a nice platform to work with without any of the undertone shines. So now I'm going to start highlighting some of these silvers up. It looks like I am working on the armour plates, doesn't matter. You guys will it'll work for you both ways. And this is Thrash Metal by CL75. It's slightly lighter than what Ironbreaker, but it's not quite as light as Runefang. So you want a sort of a chainmail-y colour, or an oily steel, something like that, and you get a nice good highlight with the on the silvers. Once the Thrash Metal's gone down, we're going to go over the entirety of the model, golden oil with non-oil, and this is going to give you some really nice depth. As always, I've thinned this down a little bit so it goes through the details a lot nicer. Just take your time. No need to rush. You can get a really good coverage with it, and just go over a couple of times if you need to. It'll just add more depth to the recesses. Now back over with the Thrash Metal again, sort of taking it back up to a mid highlight level. You're going to leave some of the darker colours in, and also you're going to leave a little bit of the black lined in as well. Now this is heavy metal. Now this is similar to Runefang steel. Nice bright vibrant highlight colour. So we're going to go up one level higher. As you can see, I'm using a really narrow brush, and I'm just bringing that silver to a nice shiny finish, picking out any other detail work what really should stand out, and just generally cleaning everything up from the wash. Now, this is heavy metal now, this is speed metal now, and this is a really light silver. It's very good for a top highlight colour. It goes over really well too. It's quite a good strong pigment, so you get a nice solid highlight finish. As you can see, I'm only doing half a model, but as I've explained, that's going to be because the second half is going to be in red. Obviously, you will make mistakes. Just remember to tidy it up as quickly as you can. Otherwise, you wind up having to give yourself more work. So I just tidy things up as and when I make the mistakes whilst the paint's still wet. So I'm going to start working on the golds now. This is RUNELORD brass. It's a very thin colour, but it works well over decayed metal. If you go with a Retributor armour, you will get a slightly different shade from this, as Retributor is quite a yellowy gold, whereas this one, decayed metal, is quite a browny gold, a bit more of a bronze colour. So you're going to get a similar effect, but with a bit more yellow in the undertone. And what I'm doing, I'm just bringing those highlights up. Going to start polishing that colour really nicely, and it's just going to start adding some light to the raised areas. And I'm going to start accentuating the shapes. Now, as you can see, there is an absolute stack of detail on these models. Really not a flat panel, so you can really go to town, go as wacky as you want. I was considering doing something a little bit more eccentric with the colour scheme, but I felt that giving you guys the options of both Martyred Lady and Bloody Rose in the same tutorial was a good call. And it does also give you a very different looking model. Having a 50-50 split, it really does stand out nicely. So once that RUNELORD brass is dried out, we're going over the top of the RUNELORD brass with SYCORAX bronze. Again, very soft, gentle colour produced by GW. Gives you a nice highlight, so, but it's quite thin, so you do sometimes need to go over an extra time with the same colour. And again, I'm focusing on the extreme highlights now, really starting to pull those light colours together, bringing those apex points to a nice bright colour. We're going to get some real nice finish. This is going to give us a real nice finish once we've actually got the final highlights in. Okay, a final highlight onto the golds, and this is SYCORAX plus THRASH metal, and this is going to be really focused towards the most high points where the light will hit most frequently, and it just brightens up those golds, and you get a real polished look where the light would reflect from the golds, and it really does bring it out away from any of the darker colours. Also, it adds a nice contrast to the silvers, with the gold being quite a warm colour and the silver being cold. This is just pure thrash now, just focusing right on the extreme edges, just as one last highlight, and it just adds that final touch to it. So onto the reds, and this is GW's KHORNE red. Now, as you can see, just painting this one half of it. Now I've got to be really careful now, because obviously I've got all the gold and the silvers finished, and all at the same time you've got to make sure that the paint is nice and thin. So this is slightly thinned down, and I'm just trying to be really careful not to get any of the paint anywhere else, as I don't want to ruin any of the work I've already made. So once the KHORNE red went down, I used WAZDAKKA. Now I couldn't get that on camera because the focus was completely terrible. So I'm just going to have to tell you what I did as far as the colours went. Now this is WAZDAKKA and a bit of Evil SUNZ in there. As you can see, I'm starting to polish those highlights now. Really starting to make that vibrant red. It's going to start standing out ever so nicely against that silver as well. Keeping some of the darker shades showing through, but as always, really focusing on the highlights now. This is going to be kind of what the base colour would be, so this is going to be covering the majority of the red sections. And next is pure Evil SUNZ. As you see, I'm just starting to leave extra layers of the darker colours showing through more. Really starting to bring that nice orangey red to the top, leaving only small sections of the darker colour showing. Now at this stage I'm using a Wild Rider Red. As you can see, this is added into the Evil SUNZ, or Wild Rider Orange, or whatever it's called. And we're going to start using that to start polishing up those highlights. Really going to make the leading edges stand out ever so nicely. Now I'm really not sure what's going off with the camera on this one. It's really struggling. It looks like we might be getting ready for some better equipment. So I do seem to be struggling a little bit with the camera here. I do apologise for that. So this is Wild Rider with a bit of Troll Slayer in there, and just starting to bring out those edges, leading edge highlights now. It's going to start really starting to pop. As you can see, the highlights are quite vibrant, which work really well for this type of figure, with nice sharp edges. It makes it a lot more interesting, and you're going to get a real nice final coat. The tabards are based in khaki, which is my current go-to colour for creams. It's a nice dark beige colour, so with it being dark you get a nice coverage, but as it's still beige, it's very easy to bring it up to a decent finish. So after a couple of layers of the khaki, we've got a nice smooth coat for us to work with. So after the khaki's gone down, I'm just going to start progressively adding more and more off-white. This is just to highlight it without you leaving the chalkiness what a white highlight would give. The off-white's got a touch of yellow in there, so it takes away some of the chalkiness, and you end up with a much more smooth transition as you mix more and more off-white into the layers. So as you can see, just starting to brighten it up a bit now, and really adding more and more colour to the more raised areas, leaving that khaki, just adding that shade to the recesses. So after a couple of layers and some finishing touches, that is the Paragon Warsuit. Now, as I've said, these models are absolutely sensational. They really have been knocked out of the park. It's a kind of model that didn't take a particularly good photo when I first saw it, but having played around with them, they are really, really nice, really striking centerpiece models. And I can't wait to get hold of some more to improve my Sister of Battle army ever more so. Once I'd painted all the silvers, I decided to go with green for the energy weapons and the piping. Really nicely contrasts against the red and the silver, so you get a really nice vibrant power sword, which really contrasts against the armor, sets it off against each other. So you get a very cool looking model. Thoroughly enjoy these. Really looking forward to getting a full squadron of 9 on the table and play around like that. I don't know how good they are. I've only played them once. The new Sister of Battle Codex is quite an interesting one. It's got a lot of little tricks, but it does seem fairly complicated compared to older versions of it. But I do hope you enjoyed this model, and I hope you get as much pleasure out of painting it as I did. Anyway guys, thank you for watching this. I really hope you learned something and enjoyed it. And if you really want to help us out, check us out on Patreon, check us out on, obviously like and subscribe to the video, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. We really do benefit from that, any interactions you can give us. If you've got any questions, feel free to drop us a message. We do read all comments, we just can't always reply to them. So hope to catch you in the next videos. So if you're really interested in helping us out, please check out our Patreon as well. Also, if you use Element Games or the Outpost, check us out. I've got affiliate links in the description. where you get your standard 15 to 20% off at no cost to you. And if you use our affiliate link, we get a small kickback as well, which helps us out no end. So as you can see, all 3 Paragon suits done in the same way, looking pretty cool as a squadron, and yeah, nice and easy colour scheme, but really striking. Sometimes split colours are really good, but they can be a little bit more time consuming than a standard 1 colour palette. Thank you for watching this, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye.